Hello and welcome again on this educational channel, Sudanese National Education, to teach English lessons, specifically Grammar 3, or as we call them, Brighter Grammar Book 3. Today we'd like to discuss Lesson 2. We had in Lesson 1 reflexive pronouns, and also we talked about emphasizing pronouns. Today we'd like to continue talking about pronouns. We'll be talking about possessive pronouns. Also, we'll talk about interrogative pronouns and demonstrative pronouns. Before we start, we'd like to talk about adjectives that show positions. Adjectives like my book, your book, his book, her book, and our house. So here, the examples show the adjective that tells us more about the nouns like my book, your cat, his dog, her flower, our house. These are adjectives, but they show position. But today we'd like to discuss possessive pronouns. Let's consider these sentences. That seat isn't yours. It's mine. Yours and mine. Number 2, lend me your bicycle. Hers is no good. Hers as a pronoun. Number 3, he's wearing a hat that isn't his. Number 4, that cat is ours. Number 5, we spent Christmas Day with the Browns. Theirs was the best party I have ever been to. In these sentences, we find the words like yours, mine, hers, his, ours, and theirs. These are pronouns. Why? Because they stand instead of the possessive adjective, and also they stand instead of the noun. Example number 1, that seat isn't yours. Yours here means isn't your seat. It is mine. And mine here means my seat. Number 2, lend me your bicycle. Hers is no good. And the word hers here means her bicycle. Number 3, he's wearing a hat that isn't his. The word his here as pronoun stands instead of his hat. Number 4, that cat is ours. Instead of saying that cat is our cat. So we can put one word to stand instead of both the possessive adjective and the noun. We spent Christmas Day with the Browns. Theirs was the best party I have ever been to. Theirs here also stands instead of two words. It stands instead of what? Instead of their and then party. So words like yours, mine, hers, and his, ours, and theirs are possessive pronouns. Why? Because they show position. Also, possessive pronouns, they have usage or usages that we can use them with the preposition of. Example here, he is a friend of mine. A friend of what? Of mine. Instead of saying, no, or not as you may expect, saying he's a friend of me, which is not correct. Also, we can say here, that dog of yours has been fighting again. Yours. There is John and that friend of his going to play tennis. So also, as we said, after the preposition of, we use the possessive pronoun like mine, example, like yours, like his, but not me or him or the object pronouns as you may expect. Here is a table to compare possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. We find the possessive adjectives always there is a noun after them. Example here, This is my book. My is a possessive adjective and after it the noun book. Instead of this one, we can say this book is mine using one word to stand instead of both words, the adjective and the noun. This book is your book. Your book. And here, this book is yours. Here, this is her book. But here, we say this book is hers. Number 4, this is our book. Here, we can use one word and say this book is ours. Again, this is their book. This book is theirs. Dear students, you can feel free to use different ideas in order to express about your thought. But when you use possessive adjective, always you have to use a noun after them, but possessive pronouns stand instead of the noun and the adjective. So pronouns that stand instead of the noun to show position, we call them possessive pronouns. Here is a new type of pronouns. As we said, we continue talking about possessive pronouns and interrogative pronouns and also demonstrative pronouns. Let's see this new type of pronouns. Here we have interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns are words that used to ask questions or pronouns that we use to ask questions. Example, like the pronoun who, and also the pronoun what, the pronoun which. So here, who are you? When I ask a question using who, so it stands example, the answer, I am Sufian. So it stands instead of the name Sufian, but we use it to ask questions to know about that. Number 2, what have you done today? And the answer, I have done my work. My work here as a noun, but what here stands instead of that noun. Which of these books do you want? I have 2 books and I would like you to choose one of them. Or which of these hands is the right hand? So which can stand instead of noun but in a form of question. Number 2, we have what we call demonstrative pronouns. And demonstrative pronouns are words that point out things like the word this, and also the word these, and the word that, and also the word those. We know that we use this and that for singular, and we use these and those for plural. This is a book. So this here is a pronoun. It stands instead of what? The noun, which is this is, and then a book. These are my books. These, and then are my books. So these stands instead of what? My books, to show or to point out the things. That is a star. That is, and then a star. And those are stars. Again, you may ask me a question and say, teacher, before we had words like what and which, this and that, these and those, and we said were adjectives. And now in this lesson, which is lesson 2, we said these are pronouns. Let's make that very clear. Consider these 2 tables. We have A and B, the column A and the column B. But remember that we said adjectives are words that go with noun and tell us more about them, or they qualify nouns, while pronouns are words that stand instead of nouns. Let's see here. What exercise have you done? And then, which book do you want? Number 3, we have, this book is a good one. That star is called Mars. Number 5, these books belong to me. And number 6, those stars are millions of miles away. In column A, we find the words what, which, this, that, these, and those. After them, always there is a noun. What exercise? Which book? This book. That star. These books. Those stars. They qualify the nouns, so they are adjectives, or they tell us more about the exercise, more about the book, more about the book here also, and here the star, the books, stars. But let's consider column B. What have you done today? Number 2, which of these books do you want? Number 3, this is a good book. That is a very bright star. These are the teacher's books, and those are very distant stars. If you see here is completely different. Here the words stand instead of nouns, and they are also the subject of the sentences as the nouns. We know that nouns can be what? Subject, and can be object. Here these words are the subject of what? Of these sentences. They don't qualify nouns, they stand instead of them. So, the question that says what part of a speech a word is, we say the answer is the word, or we say the part of a speech a word is by the work it does in a sentence. Thank you very much. Feel free to comment and ask questions, prescribe, and enjoy watching.